What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celios Network. Today we're looking at Drampa Garb updated with Shining Legends and Crimson Invasion. I think this is more of a toolbox build of the deck and less focused on Drampa. We're only playing two of it. We're playing a few new cards from Shining Legends and Crimson Invasion. I think they really help the deck. I've also added in a Crossbow, so let's get into the list. We're starting out with two Drampa GX. As most of you should know, if you don't, I'll read it out and explain it a bit. 180 HP colorless basic GX, Righteous Edge, for 1 energy does 20 and discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is really good. A lot of decks are playing either Rainbow double colorless energy, strong energy, or a combination of the three. So we can deal 20 with Choice Band, 50 if we're attacking a GX or EX, and discard their special energy. So we can set them back a turn. Berserk is where Drampa gets really strong. For 3 colorless, which will usually be a Psychic or a Rainbow and a DCE, we'll do 80, but if one of your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on it, then this attack does 70 more damage. So we'll be doing 150 most of the time because one of our bench Pokemon will be damaged by either Rainbow Energy or Potown. And then with a Choice Band, Berserk does 180, which will be knocking out most opposing GXs and EX basic Pokemon. Its GX attack is something we'll use every now and then. Big Wheel GX, shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 10 cards. I see myself using this maybe every 1 out of 3 to 5 games. A lot of times it'll be like the first or second turn. If I don't have that great of a hand, I'll just Big Wheel GX and either keep 10 cards or force my opponent to end me, and I'll get a better hand than I already had. Next, we have a new card from Crimson Invasion, Kartana GX. This Pokemon is 170 HP Steel, so it's one of the... excuse me. It's one of the lower health GX basics. What's really special about this card is its ability Slice Off. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is really cool. It's like an enhanced hammer, but it's an Ultra Ball searchable enhanced hammer, because you can Ultra Ball for this Pokemon, play it down to your bench, and discard a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. Its Blade GX attack is unique. It's simply for a Steel, which will be a Rainbow energy in this deck. Take a prize card. So if your opponent's trying to force a 7 prize game, you don't actually have to take that last prize with a knockout. You can just attach a Rainbow to Kartana and take that prize without having to knock something out. Excuse me. And Gale Blade does 70 for a Steel and a double colorless. You may shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. So with a Choice Band, we're hitting Steel weak Pokemon for 200. That's really important, that number, because Gardevoir may already have 30 on it from Potown or a Latios. So Gale Blade with a Choice Band would knock it out if it already had that 30 damage on it. And then you can shuffle this Pokemon back into your deck, and so you can reuse Slice Off later in the game. Next we have Espeon EX, which is the card that's making damage spread so good. Miraculous Shine, devolve each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon, and put the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. This card's really, really popular. I don't have to go into it too much. Just great to have in any deck where you're spreading some damage or you're at a disadvantage against Stage 2 decks. Next we have Latios. I'm playing Latios over Tapu Koko promo because the 30 damage is really important. Excuse me. 30 damage is really important, especially with Potown. So Potown puts 30 on, say, a Kirlia. When it evolves, you put another 30 on it with Breakthrough. And then you can devolve it. And then, so, basically, a Kirlia evolves into Ralts. It takes 30 from Potown. You swing 30 onto the Kirlia. If it doesn't evolve into Gardevoir, you can Miraculous Shine. If it does evolve into Gardevoir, it'll have 90 on it from the Po Town, and you Miraculous Shine it then. If the Gardevoir rare candies from Ralts to Guardy, it takes 30 from the Po Town. You break through 30, then it has the 60 it needs to knock out the Ralts with the Miraculous Shine, and that's where the math comes in a bit. It also does 30 to the active, so you can hit 2 Ralts, setting 2 different Ralts up. Chances are they're not going to evolve both of them with Kirlia, so they might rare candy one of them, and if Po Town's out, then you already have your math ready for Miraculous Shining that Gardevoir. This is also a really good attacker because Buzzwole GX is popular right now, so break through the 60 to an active Buzzwole. With a Choice Band, it does 120 to an active Buzzwole, which is insane because you're also spreading the 30 damage to a bench still. So I really like this in place of Coco for those 2 reasons. Let's go to Necrozma. Oh gosh, I just deleted Necrozma from our deck. Sorry guys. If you watch my videos, this is a common theme where I just hit that delete button like all the time. Okay, we're back in action. So let's look at this baby. Necrozma GX, 180 HP. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Sorry guys. 180 HP Psychic Basic Pokemon. Ability is prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from colorless Pokemon. This is pretty good against Silvally if they don't have a memory attached, or against Drampa GX. But we're really looking at Black Ray GX here. This attack does 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon GX and Pokemon EX. So you spread that damage across, let's say, a board of Gardevoir GX, and then you Miraculous Shine them, or a board of Galissopods and Zoroark GXs, and then you Miraculous Shine them, or just set up for KOs with things like Drampa or Trashalanche Garbodor. So Black Ray GX gets a lot of damage on the board really, really quickly. Prismatic Burst can be okay. Discard all Psychic Energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 60 more damage for each card you discarded in this way. So if you're going up against a Psychic weak Pokemon, this can do a lot of damage. Other than that, you probably won't be doing too much damage with Prismatic Burst. Next we have Shining Mew, a card from Shining Legends. So 30 HP, this Pokemon's really frail. It can be knocked out on the bench by a Latios. But you're looking to use this Pokemon on the first turn you can attack, if possible. It's not part of the main game plan, but if you can get it out, it's really cool. Search your deck for up to 2 energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, then shuffle your deck. So for just a Psychic Energy, you can use Legendary Guidance. You can set up both a Drampa and a Necrozma halfway. So let's say either attach a Psychic Energy to both of them or a DCE to both of them if you don't think your opponent's playing Enhanced Hammers or Kartana. So you can set up 2 threats. So next turn you just attach 1 energy to either of them and they are ready to go. So your opponent can usually not deal with both of those threats by removing all of the energy. They can't knock out both Drampa and Necrozma in the same turn. The biggest way I could see someone dealing with this is if you attach both energy to one Pokemon, which in most cases is going to be a misplay. You want to spread that energy out. Or if they play GX the Pokemon, but then you can just replay the Pokemon down in Legendary Guidance again. So that wouldn't be too big of a deal. So yeah, I have high hopes for Shining Mew. Right now it's taking the place of Shining Jirachi, which I also really like, but I don't have room for both of them right now in this build. Next we have 3 Tapu Lele GX for its Wonder Tag, and sometimes its Energy Drive, yada yada. We all know about Tapu Lele. Then we have 4 Trubbish with Acid Spray. It's the best Trubbish in Standard. 2 Garbotoxin Garbodor to shut off your opponent's abilities, and 2 Trashalanche Garbodor to do damage and hit that Psychic weakness. So those are all of our Pokemon. Let's go into the trainers. We've got 1 Field Blower. This could easily be up to 2. I have a lot of techs in this deck like Kartana, Latios, Shining Mew. So I'm trying out a bunch of stuff. I might drop the 4th Trubbish for a 2nd Field Blower, because Field Blower can be nice to add more items into your opponent's discard. Excuse me. To make your Trasher Lance do more damage. But really, in Standard, you run multiple Field Blower to stop your opponent's Garbotoxin, and we are the person using Garbotoxin. So, 1 Field Blower is okay for now, since we also have a counter stadium. 1 Rescue Stretcher to get back any Pokemon that goes to the discard that you might want to use again. 4 Ultra Ball, pretty standard. 3 Po-Town, whenever any player plays a Pokemon from their hand to evolve one of their Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. So this is hitting our evolutions of Garbodor, plus all of your opponent's evolutions. This can help us out by damaging our own Pokemon because of Drampa's Berserk. So if we evolve a Garbodor from Trubbish and put 30 on it, Berserk is now doing its extra damage. Also, this really helps with math on the opponent's evolution Pokemon when we're Miraculous Shining them. Like I said earlier, a Po-Town 30, a Latios 30, you're ready to start evolving things. Next one, Bridget, an essential supporter for most decks currently. It searches for 3 basic Pokemon, non-EX, so it can get basics and basic GXs, or 1 EX. So most of the time we're going to go for something like a Shining Mew and 2 Trubbish, or a Shining Mew, a Drampa, and a Trubbish, or 2 Trubbish and a Drampa. It usually take advantage of getting those big GXs out with it, at least one of them. Next we have 4 Guzma. It's just really nice to consistently get Guzma, especially when you're playing things like Drampa, which can one-shot Lele's very easily with a Choice Band and a DCE and a Psychic Energy and some damage on your bench. After Necrozma hits its Black Ray GX and puts 100 on everything, you can pretty much one-shot with most of the attackers in this deck, so Guzma is really good to have around. Next we have 4N, which is pretty standard. 4 Sycamore, again pretty standard. 4 Choice Band and 4 Floatstone. Choice Band, you always want to be adding damage with your attacks, and then the 4 Floatstones so you can activate Garbotoxin whenever you want. We're rounding off this deck with 4 DCE, 4 Rainbow Energy, and 4 Psychic Energy. So this deck kind of plays like Drampa Garb. If you start out with Drampa, that's great. You're probably going to go for the turn 2 Berserk, big damage. Because we play 4 Floatstone, a lot of times we can just bridge it for a Shining Mew, attach Floatstone to the active, retreat, and use Legendary Guidance, set up 2 attackers at once. That's really, really nice. It's something we didn't have for this deck before. So the 3 new cards we're looking at in this deck are Shining Mew, Latios, and Kartana GX. I think they all add some diversity to the deck, and Latios just adds that little extra oomph we needed that Coco wasn't doing, because Coco would spread damage to the whole board, which is really good for some decks. But for this deck, I feel like we wanted that extra 10 damage in a specific place, rather than 20 damage wasted on Pokemon we're not even trying to kill. So, this is my new Drampa Garb, updated with Shining Legends and Crimson Invasion. I hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe if you want to see more content, especially on Crimson Invasion and Shining Legends content, which I will be putting out until I run out of new ideas with Crimson Invasion and Shining Legends. So I hope you all have a good day. Comment, subscribe, and like if you enjoyed what you saw. See you next time here on Celios Network.